Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Those Two Geeks. He's Alex. I'm Joe. It's a Sunday, but y'all better get that toast ready because we are here with another jam session, baby. And it's been a long time. Welcome back, Mr. Matthew Klein, our third co-host. And yeah, it's been a while, man.
Wow, listen. I really like the whole jam pun you did there,
Yeah,
Joe. Well,
I wasn't sure where you were going with that. I thought that was fantastic.
it was
Thank
great.
you.
It was
Thank you.
great. Well done, sir. Very excited to be back here with you, gentlemen. Even despite the fact I am in a home with no heat during the coldest
Jeez.
part of the year, and won't have heat for at least another 4 days.
What?
So,
Why?
Why?
well, apparently the unit for our floor in the apartment building that we live in, the compressor blew, and so
Jesus.
they've got to wait for the part. Except there are two compressors, and we were told, well, one blew, and so we can sort of keep
Mm-hmm.
you on a teensy little bit of heat. We just have to shut down the unit every day for a couple of hours to let it reset and not overheat. Well, last night, gentlemen, the second compressor appears to have blown.
Jeez.
So
Can
now
you
we
be
got.
on a teensy bit of rent then too?
Well, we do not rent, but we do have condo
Oh, okay.
fees,
Okay, can you,
and
yeah, well, get those
well, we're
waived?
we're gonna be exploring some options. I think
Yeah,
this
I think
week,
you should. That's some bullshit.
indeed. It's not the first time this has happened. This happened a couple of years ago, and
Wow, man. Around same time frame?
same time frame. So,
Jesus.
You would, yeah, Jesus. That's not
so
brilliant.
we got a little space heater.
Do you have
That
any
is
Gore-Tex?
no, unfortunately, just sweaters and blankets. That's
Shit,
it.
man. You got to get
During,
yourself some Gore-Tex.
I will
I
say this
almost feel
during
guilty
the
now
days.
that I'm sat here in a t-shirt.
It's okay. Listen, the heat of our discussion is what's going to get me through the
Oh,
next
very
hour.
well. See,
Oh, well played.
so
Thank
played.
you.
So played. Speaking of, a lot has transpired. Initially, we originally were planning this for the premiere of the Netflix Raw or right after to discuss. A few weeks have gone by, but I think it works better in our favor because now we have time to actually like more digest and kind of pick apart the product, I guess we're going to call it, because I know I'm going to. So, I think it's going to be great. Alex has watched the first Netflix, and we got to have this little offline chat, the three of us on our jam session chat, and but now we get to like really kind of get into the meat and potatoes of it, and I guess I'll be benevolent. I'll go first, and then you guys could jump in. I thought Netflix Raw. I didn't know what to expect. I
So
thought
we're
there was a
starting with the first episode, right? And
yes,
then
the
you
very
go
Okay,
first
into
and
this.
episode.
and we're
Yeah,
we're 3 episodes into the
three.
Netflix era at this
Correct.
point.
Correct. And we can discuss Saturday Night Main Event too if you've seen it, Matthew.
I
Like,
have.
okay, so I'm going to be a bit of a flip flop artist on both of these shows, but so Raw for Netflix, I didn't know what to expect. I thought, are we going to just get what is it going to be like when Raw switched from USA Network back to, I mean, over to TSN? I'm not TSN, TNN years ago, and it was just lipstick on a pig. It was the same thing, just a different logo. Raw, to my surprise and to my pleasure, was much different. At least the first episode. The way it was shot, the way it was presented, it felt grandiose. It was massive. There was some things that a lot of people complained about, all the logos and the sponsors on the ring. I have no issue with that. I don't mind it. I didn't like it when it was one big prime logo, but for some reason, multiple like logos on the quadrants or whatever, it doesn't bother me. It feels more like a big fight feel type of thing. Like Michael Buffer should be in the middle of that ring announcing every match. I thought it was shot well. I liked the way The Rock came out. Yes, he broke kayfabe. He immediately broke kayfabe and thanked Cody Rhodes for being the standard bearer, the torch bearer, and carrying, the company, giving him like an attaboy. And I've heard a couple people's responses to that, and I wanted to get you guys' responses after I just go over my whole diagnosis of it. So I thought the camera angles were like something I've never seen before. I like the refs gear. I liked everything. I liked the setup. I liked the entrance. I liked the sound. It just felt big. I understand that the pacing of it for people wasn't great, but I looked at it as okay. I would have preferred this be Raw week to week, but I knew we weren't going to get this week to week after it aired because it felt like a sizzle reel for like a new project. Like, hey, if you've never seen this before, come on board. Here's what you get. Here's the cut scenes. Here's the the big spots, and this is what you can expect. So it was supposed to grab new people and bring back lapsed people. I think it did a great job in bringing new people in. I think what it did was it turned away lapsed fans, like long time wrestling fans who maybe decided to tune in because the pacing was off for people. There was only 4 matches, and it felt like it was like 9 hours long for a couple people. I loved the pacing. I loved the promos. I'm a promo heavy guy. And I thought every match on that show delivered and had a very big fight feel. I also dug the way that all the matches ended without interference. They were just straight up contests. And, like Jay and Drew McIntyre was the one that had me scratching my head that, with all the momentum Drew has, we do put Jay over. But I'll be honest, you can't deny Jay Uso's aura, as Pat McAfee calls it, because the guy is something so very special. Whether he wins or loses, he earns the main event Jay Uso moniker. There was one thing that made me laugh my ass off, and I don't think they'll do it again, but I could be wrong. Is you had a celebrity coming to the ring or a rapper. You had Travis Scott, and he was very visibly smoking a blunt and at first, I had to do a double take to make sure that that was real. And it was very real. But now that I've gone back and watched it, if you look at the TV disclaimer that says TVPG, which I don't understand how it's still TVPG, it says language, violence, and substances. So they had already covered their bases. They had already planned for that to have happened. I don't think it was something that caught them off guard. I just think maybe the extent of it caught them off guard. But regardless, I liked the way it felt. I liked the recap afterwards immediately where you switched to YouTube and it like picked up right from the ring and it just everything about it, it was the anti 1993 Raw where it was very minimalistic and just, you have like Baron von Deutsch versus, Doink the Clown. And I know Baron von Deutsch is not a real person, but you had these weird just you'd never put them together these day and age. Like everything felt like a big fight feel here. I thought they did well. I understand the rock breaking kayfabe is, maddening to a lot of people. Um, I just everyone was on their game. I was very happy with it. It is in my top 10 Raws of all time. I know that's very high praise, but it is. It's something special. And now I'll turn it over to you guys.
Well, I thought it sucked.
Yeah.
But
I was wondering which one of us were going to go first.
So the matches were all good. I didn't mind the finishes of any of the matches. I think where you saw Jay Uso going and where they seem to be going with Drew McIntyre makes all the sense in the world. Drew is now on a losing streak, which he's not been on for a while because he lost to Seth Rollins 2 weeks later. He's probably going to lose the Rumble. So this is Drew sort of going to have to redefine himself. And he is by now leaving Raw and going to SmackDown, right? So Drew did the honors for 2 top guys on Raw on his way out after being doing really, really well in terms of TV matches for the last 2 years, basically. Yeah. So to me, it makes sense. Jay Uso got the shot at the title last night with Gunther. I've got no problems with that booking, right? I thought the other matches on the debut of Netflix were very good in ring. I love the Punk Seth match. I thought it was great that Seth goes over.
No, you mean Punk went over.
I'm sorry. Yes, that Punk went over. My apologies.
It's all right.
The-
I will
the
always
pe-
correct
it's
that
okay.
CM Punk win.
That's totally fair. That you are CM Punk correction. Yes, I understand.
Yeah.
So the pacing was a real problem, was a real barrier. I watched that episode and I said to myself, this is why I don't watch Raw live if I can help it anymore.
Yeah.
The Rock coming out and cutting a 25-minute in-ring circle jerk for himself made no sense to me. Why did you have the slowest, self-congratulatory, inconsequential? That is the biggest problem I had. Everything between the matches to me felt of little to no consequence, which meant that for at least 90 minutes out of a 3-hour show, there was nothing of any sort of progression. And therefore, why would I tune in next week? What was I tuning in for?
Right.
Why are you dragging this show at a snail's pace? And I'm a diehard.
You're
right?
very diehard. That's why
I am a diehard. So and it did that for me. So my concern was, okay, we're gonna have your best opportunity to bring in new fans in a giant chunk all at once, because the Netflix advertisements were everywhere, right? Like they did a great job of building hype for this event so that someone like Alex would actually watch this show, who does not watch this show ever, who does not watch WWE ever, who has not watched the WWE TV product in how long, Alex, if ever?
So other than the opening Raw, I haven't sat down to watch a full episode of WWE Raw ever.
Right.
Now that part
wait. Even back in the Bret Hart era?
I didn't have Raw back then. So you've got to remember,
right? Yeah.
Back when I was a kid, we had 4 TV channels because we didn't pay for satellite TV. It was at the time. So WWE was only on satellite TV. So when I say I've watched pay-per-views from back in the day, it's because we watched them on video months, if not years after the fact.
Sure, gotcha.
Which is why sometimes when we talk about it, and that match was great, which is why I've always been more a fan of the live action, the matches. Can I get the story from that? Because I never got weekly wrestling, so I understand that people enjoy it. It's never really been the main draw for me.
I got it.
Sure.
Right?
That makes total sense.
It does. It really does.
Are you, Matthew? I didn't mean to interrupt. Do you still have thoughts? Because I have a few.
Oh, I mean, I can repeat myself, but
fair enough.
But basically, it's just this was your chance to hook lapsed fans and create new fans, and they showed up. The viewership numbers
absolutely showed up.
Were fantastic. They absolutely showed up, and then you lost 40% of them for week 2, which means you didn't do your job and hooked them to come back for week 2.
Do you know what the numbers were, though, Matthew? Were they anything close to the Tyson?
No. The Tyson Paul did over 60 million viewers. This did 5 million.
I thought this was going to do like 200 million. I guess
no, sir. that would mean every single Netflix subscriber possible watched Monday Night Raw.
They all should have.
But also remember, Mike Tyson hadn't fought in 20 years. That was an event. And
it sure was.
You know what I mean? Like Monday Night Raw is on the air consistently, doing maybe 1.5 million viewers live. But again, to go from 1.5 million viewers live on a show that's around every single week, 52 weeks a year, to 5 million is a massive jump. That is
it's a crazy jump.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
So
it's huge, especially in this day and age.
So. Yeah, I didn't watch it live, right? Like I watched it a day or two later, and
you watched it the next day.
Yeah, it was the next day. And now, full disclosure for anyone listening for the first time who isn't aware, I'm an AEW fan. I am unapologetically an AEW fan.
And we don't hold it against you.
No, and I mean, I will happily criticize things they've done that I don't like, but
Sure.
for the most part, AEW
Yeah.
is where I'm going to be more enjoying.
Yeah.
I find it hilarious that The Rock came out and cut a 25-minute out of kayfabe promo, and people loved it. Whereas when Tony Khan does the same thing, they shit on him for breaking
And here's the
kayfabe.
thing.
Who loved it, Alex? Who
I
loved
loved it. Hold on one sec. I loved it, but also I also shit on Tony Khan for doing the same thing on our show. If you recall,
that's exactly my point. Is that so? Joe, as an example, loves when The Rock does it, hates when Tony Khan does it, right?
Yeah, I guess maybe because it came out with more flair. I don't know.
I think The Rock is just better at speaking on camera, in part.
And I'm not disputing that in any way, shape, or form. The Rock is electrifying, and Tony Khan isn't.
No,
However, Tony Khan's
not a charismatic guy.
No, he's not. But he did it. He does it off camera and doesn't waste any time of when I'm sat at home watching a show versus when I'm watching a Rock. I'm like, but you hate Cody Rhodes. I don't understand this. So as someone
that's what everyone's issue was,
right. As someone who doesn't watch it often, like at all with Raw. So the last time I saw The Rock really was at WrestleMania where he did his thing. All of a sudden he's doing this for Cody. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense to me.
None.
So I'm already pulled out. And then it takes the better part of 40 minutes before I get my first match. And now I'm wondering, like, this is absolutely mind-numbingly boring for me.
Yeah.
The Netflix ads are atrocious. And I say this as someone who is watching it without the Netflix ads in there. I would rather watch Raw on TV with an actual break for commercials than watch a show that clearly has commercials that I would say probably 50% of people are paying for the non-ad break Netflix subscription. Like I don't have a number on that.
No, but I had the ad breaks too.
Yeah, so they're gearing it towards the people with who pay for the cheapest subscription, and that's fine, and I don't mind that.
Yeah.
But they haven't figured out how to pace the show so that it doesn't interrupt it.
I thoroughly enjoyed the John Cena Mick ads, though. Those are a guilty pleasure right now.
Do you know what term? So I watched the first episode of Raw. I watched the second half, and I had to stop it to go away for something, and I never put it back on. And I realized it's because when I stopped it, it was because there was an ad break for someone's entrance, and so they're pacing back and forth in the ring for
that. I
don't
minutes. Like that. I noticed.
And I was like, you know what? I'm done. Break. Like I don't care what you do, but either bring them out after the ad.
Yeah.
Right, or have the entrances carry on through the ad, and if someone says, "Oh, but I didn't get to see the entrance," pay more, sucker. That's what I don't understand. Not that I'm encouraging people to have to pay more, but I'm surprised that the WWE aren't doing that.
Pay more, sucker.
Yeah, like I'm surprised that they're not encouraging people to pay for the higher ad price of subscription prices because Netflix have just raised their prices.
Oh yeah, they're raising it after having their biggest
again too.
Yes, after having their biggest subscriber growth quarter in years, they're now raising them again.
Yeah.
Well, they got to pay the $5 billion to WWE for the next 10 years. So I totally agree with you on the ad problem, Alex. And Triple H, even in media going up to the premiere of Raw, said that was going to be a pain point. Like he literally was out there trying to manage expectations, saying this is going to take a little while. It's new for Netflix. It's new for them to figure out how to do this. And so we are trying to work with them to figure out how it's all going to work. And they've gotten slightly better over the 3 weeks. They absolutely have.
They have.
But I agree. It was absolutely jarring on that first. And again, was another reason why I went, oh, why am I watching this live?
So
and so now I'm not. Now I'm waiting till the next day, and I have it on during work in the background, and I'm keeping up there. And you know what? I don't get the ad breaks on the next day. It's been great.
So I'll just be Mr. Polar Bear here.
Please.
I'm going to be the opposite of you guys.
Go for it.
So I thoroughly enjoyed every little thing about Raw Netflix premiere. I thought the pacing was slightly off for me. The ads didn't really bother me. The matches were presented in big match format. The camera angles were great. Everything was done very creatively. I thought Raw Week 2 sucked donkey nuts. It was so terrible. It's in some of my lowest Raws of all time. It was atrociously boring, mind-numbingly just dumb. And the fact that it just abruptly cut 2 hours and 20 minutes when even though Triple H said, you know, it's going to go as long as the story goes because on Netflix we don't have a time constraint. We could have it be an hour and 45 minutes. We could have it be 3 hours and 10 minutes like they did the first Raw. He said whatever the story calls for. But man, for me, after going from this massive big fight feel for every match to the most filler shit I've ever seen in my life was just garbage. It was so garbage. Week 3, though, has got me back on board and happy because it was like, all right, now this is a happy medium between the two. Like, they've got some growing pains to go, obviously. But the other thing is, I think I said to both of you, what killed me was the production of Raw was so high. Now, I'm not talking the content because you guys disagree with me on the content, but you can't deny that the production value was so out of this world on Raw episode 1 that when I watched SmackDown the same week, I felt like I went from a 4K TV to like rabbit ears. It was so drastically different from me the way it was presented.
I
was
agree.
like, holy shit, this was
I have
terrible.
no comment on that, and this is actually
Yeah.
part of my issue with the first WWE Raw that I watched.
Mhm.
It did nothing to pull me back, right? So as a lapsed viewer, or not even a lapsed fan, as someone who
Never before. Yeah.
right? So I'll watch PLEs, or sometimes I don't even bother and I'll just read the results to see how we did for calling them,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
That WWE Raw did nothing to, oh, and what's happening at the whatever the NXT event was that they promoted a little bit, but did nothing to make me want to watch. I know that there's a SmackDown going on because I'm friends with you guys, like, right? Like,
Sure.
I know ostensibly that there's other events happening.
Yeah.
There was nothing in that episode that said, oh, hey, and tune in on this day on this network
Yeah,
for
no.
SmackDown. Or if you're
No.
not in the States, tune in back for Netflix next week for more SmackDown. There was nothing there.
Yeah.
There was nothing to pull me back. And because my mind was numb with the amount of matches that happened.
Four.
Exactly. Four.
Over
Like,
3.5 hours. That's
Yeah.
the thing.
It was 3
If it
hours
was
and
four-
15 minutes.
If it
but
was
yeah.
4 hours, if it was 4 matches in 90 minutes, or
It
even
would have been
2
fun,
hours,
right?
Yeah,
like
two-
Saturday night's main event last night was 2 hours and had,
Mhm.
was it 4 matches?
No, it
No
had more than
problem.
4 matches. It had about
Was it 4?
6. 6?
No.
Yeah, so you
6
had
matches?
you had Gunther.
You had Gunther
and
Jay. You had the Intercontinental title.
You had the Intercontinental title with Braun
Right.
and
You had the
Sheamus. You
Women's
had Nia.
Championship.
Yeah, and then
Right,
you
that's
had
3.
that's 3.
You
And
had-
then you had what else?
You had Jacob and Braun.
Yeah, Jacob and Braun. You had one more too.
No, you didn't.
Are you sure we had nothing else?
What did you have, Joe?
I'm trying to think.
Because
You watched it
there wasn't
yesterday.
anything.
Carry the 2. No, you're right. We had 4 over.
Yeah.
There was 4 matches.
It was close to 2 hours.
There was a contract
yeah.
signing.
There was a contract signing, yeah.
Which,
and then there
which
was
took 10
no.
minutes.
We had didn't we
What?
have Tiffy and
Nope.
not Tiffy?
Nope.
We didn't have Chelsea Green with anybody last night
Nope.
and Piper Niven?
Nope.
Or am I confusing SmackDown?
That was SmackDown.
Okay. Yep. You win.
4 matches, 2 hours. Didn't feel like too few though.
No, it definitely didn't. I was telling
Because it was
Alex
better
before you
paced.
jumped on. I was telling Alex before you jumped on, Matthew, that the pacing of Saturday Night Main Event was so fast and so like not wasted at all.
Saturday
was
Night
great.
Main Event was great. It
was
went by.
fabulous.
It went by in a flash. Every match was really
flew
good. Every
by.
match felt like a big match feel. It had the
Yep.
right amount of nostalgia. It was everything the Raw and Netflix should have been in the premiere.
Also, correct me if I'm wrong. The production was great on Saturday Night Main Event. It had
Production
more of
was
that
awesome.
higher production value that SmackDown isn't getting lately. It was
No,
wonderful.
SmackDown now, I agree with you. One show feels like the golden child and the other feels like a fool's gold piece you find in a quarry somewhere. So it's
weird.
It absolutely the Raw upgrade in terms of production now makes SmackDown feel more like the B show.
Yeah,
even though
definitely.
it does not have B show talent on it.
It doesn't
right?
have B show talent. It has your A talent just about.
And that's the thing. And to your point, Joe, I think Raw on Netflix has improved over the 3 weeks. I think that the storytelling has improved. I think the pacing has improved. I think that they are not dragging their feet on every segment. Not. I think, Alex, if you watched week 3 of Netflix Raw,
you'd have a different opinion.
1, I think you would absolutely have a more favorable opinion if that was your first go around. But you can't make a first impression a second time.
No, exactly.
There's the problem, and that is why they lost 2 million viewers for week 2, is because they did not make a strong enough first impression.
My friend does not watch wrestling, and he was pulled into watching the first episode because he's I'm interested. You and another one of our friends watches it. You talk about it around me. I'm kind of curious to see what'll happen.
Sure.
After the 3 hours and like they'd ordered pizza and whatever, he's like, I'm not watching that again. There wasn't enough action for him to come back.
Yeah.
Now his friend, he explained what was going on. He was invested in some of the stories.
Sure.
And like me, like I really like the video packages before the matches.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
To me, there was maybe an hour and a half of good stuff in that Raw, in a 3-hour show with a lot of stuff that was filler, was average at best. And for the majority of the time, for me, if I was watching that on TV and I was sat here watching and I could watch that or something else, I would have turned something else on.
Right.
There was nothing on that Raw that made me stay watching it other than the fact that I was curious about Seth and Punk.
Was The Rock's promo really 25 minutes long?
Yes, it was.
Yes.
Joe. It was longer than an episode of Friends. Let's put it that way. Episodes of Friends are 22 minutes. I could have had an incredible time rewatching an episode of Friends where I would have seen 6 characters have an actual arc, laugh my ass off, had quotable lines that I'd be speaking for years to come.
I still do.
And instead, I got The Rock claiming that this was the biggest thing of all time, thanking the Netflix brass, singling out celebrities in the crowd, playing to them, taking long dramatic pauses that has served no purpose. And what did he do? He did nothing. What did he accomplish? Tell me, Joe, how did he move any stories forward? All he did was blow up his own story. And he made Cody Rhodes look like a chump. He made Cody Rhodes look like a chump in that
said to me. He goes, Joe, how the fuck can you as a Cody Rhodes like mega
slap in the face
fan be okay with that? He goes, do you think Stone Cold Steve Austin would have fucking sat there in the front row and would have got that and he would have been all right with it backstage? He's like, do you think that would have been all right?
Your friend was listening to Busted Open Radio with Bully Ray and Dave LaGreca, who
he might have
been a 30-minute rant about the Cody Rhodes thing. But their point was absolutely clear. Hulk Hogan in the 80s would never have just been sitting in the front row listening to a dude who bloodied them at the biggest show of the year, suddenly just talk down to them like a small child, and then at the end say, oh yeah, say hi to your mother for me. Hulk Hogan in the 80s would never have done that. Stone Cold Steve Austin in 98 would never have done that. John Cena in 07 would never have done that. You know what they would have done? The Rock would have started talking. They would have mentioned their name. They would have gotten a full entrance to come out and look like a big star.
Right, Cody was
crowd and to the viewers. Cody got nothing. And then, you know what else The Rock doesn't do? On Raw, he doesn't shout out the Raw World's Heavyweight Champion. Gunther was nowhere to be seen on that show.
That was my delight.
Gunther was not doing any of the press events for the Raw premiere. Gunther was nowhere, and he is the guy that has to carry
on the show, which was terrible.
Right, he wasn't live. He was nowhere on the show. He didn't exist. So the guy who does have to be there week after week after week after week and is in theory carrying the brand and is the face of that actual brand was not even on the show. But The Rock gets 25 damn minutes to congratulate himself and then make your poster boy for the company look like an idiot, look like a small child, look less than the board member. right?
Yeah.
Absolutely atrocious, should never have happened. I don't know why, and I'm sure it was Rock's idea. I'm sure it was Rock and Rock's team going, no, put Cody in the front row, be front and center, be on camera, all that. I'm sure it was him. I'm going to get into wrestling conspiracy theorists there.
That's fine.
Absolute bullshit.
Do you think The Rock doesn't like Cody Rhodes in real life?
No, I think The Rock loves Cody Rhodes in real life.
I do too.
I think he absolutely adores Cody Rhodes in real life. He put over Cody Rhodes big time at Mania, without question. He put over Cody Rhodes the night after WrestleMania, without question. But The Rock has a thing, he's done it his whole career. The Rock can't put over anybody clean. He's always got to get the last jab in. Ethan Page on NXT, he smacks his ass on the way out. Terrible for Ethan Page. Right?
Oh, that was terrible. But awful. I will say this though, as a guilty pleasure, I thoroughly enjoyed him having swearing Tourette's at the end of the show.
Oh, hysterical.
Fucking hysterical.
I give you that. But you know what I did? I literally, when The Rock came out on the end of that NXT episode, I turned off NXT because I knew what I was getting. What now? I know why WWE saved him to be the very last thing and didn't have the Obafemi title win be the last thing, because they knew. Well, no, they knew more audience was tuning in to see The Rock, and they wanted to keep them there the whole time, and it worked. They got about 175,000 more viewers to stick with the show overall because they were just waiting for The Rock at the very, very, very end, right? And it worked too, but here's the difference between NXT and Raw on Netflix. NXT was also debuting on Netflix internationally, which is why The Rock was there. SmackDown debuted
I didn't know that.
internationally that week.
Didn't know that.
So what happened was the numbers for NXT stayed up. The numbers for Raw did not stay up because NXT was a better paced show. It delivered. It just delivered more. It delivered more what audiences were like, I will come back more for this show.
Well, when he said that, Raw was the show you had to be at, but NXT is where you wanted to be. That was a big line.
Whatever.
Whatever. I know.
Whatever, Rock.
Oh, man.
Listen, go tell us how you invented sliced bread. Thank you.
Yeah.
Everything's his idea.
Jesus. I'm getting a heel turn by both of you guys today.
I admit things. I made no secret of what my feelings were on the first episode in our chat.
I didn't either.
No.
No.
It's one of those things where I have, as we've established, I don't watch WWE often in terms of the weekly TV.
Yeah.
And I have no intention of doing that anymore. I read the results from the third week, and I realized that it took me 20 minutes, or not even like 5 minutes, to get what I wanted out of it.
Yeah.
And I can watch any highlights on YouTube as I have been doing for years. Anything interesting? Oh, I'll watch that.
I'll be honest with you.
As opposed to spending 3 hours of my life watching a show that bored me to tears, when I could be watching an episode of Taboo, of Shoresy, right? Of anything else.
Shoresy, absolutely.
Right? Anything else that I could be watching instead of Raw, I will be. Like, there is nothing I would rather watch Raw ahead of at this current time.
So I will say this to you. I am not a tribalistic person. I love both AEW and WWE. I love both of them. They both have stellar talent. But the AEW product, I have to admit, and I've admitted for a while, is atrocious. I cannot, as bad as Raw Week 2 was, it's better than anything Dynamite's produced in a long, long while. It is so fucking bad, Alex. For me, it's so bad because I know what they can. No, but I know what they can be. If you go on Max and you watch AEW from 2019, amazing television. If you watch it from 2020, amazing television. It's right up to like middle of Roman's reign in 2021 where it dips off and it just starts going down the toilet. It's like Tony Khan booked everything himself from that point on. But it is so bad. Like, there are things we like about both shows and there are things we don't like about. You want to talk about a wet fart? Kenny Omega is the biggest thing that you have in your company. He still can go. he's still got a megastar presence. And you bring him back, and it's like the people were sitting on their hands. I blame the audiences in AEW. I'm going to be very honest. They need to like screen for audiences because the audiences suck. They do nothing for anybody. Like when Adam Copeland comes out, when anybody comes
You
out.
mean Cope? When Cope?
Oh God, I
comes out.
hate that shit. I hate it. I'm not calling him that. I'll call him Edge again. I'm not calling him Cope. Oh God, I hate that. That's one thing right there. But it's like we have to admit that this, and Matthew, I don't know if you watch it or you just get the cliff notes, or you see the highlights, but have to admit the Death Rider thing it has not accomplished anything. It's done nothing. Everyone 5 months in still knows what the fuck it's about. No one knows. Pull the goddamn plug. Put the belt on Omega and let the thing run. Reboot.
So I am more like Alex with AEW. I am more for AEW like Alex is with WWE. I don't, because I've tried watching and it didn't do it for me.
It's so
And
hard.
now I think that the cold matches in AEW are really good. I really love it. I really do appreciate a lot of the in-ring work. I think they have an incredible roster.
Amazing.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
There are story logic issues for me that take me out of the matches, though. So similar to you, Alex, you're looking for the story to be told more in the ring, is what I was hearing. And for me, I want both. I want the story out of the ring to lead me into the ring. I want the story in the ring to lead me out of the ring to what's going to happen next. Ideally,
I don't want both. I need both. I need both.
That's what I want. For me, the Death Rider story makes no sense. I cannot make sense. If a prime example is them teaming with another AEW, group of wrestlers.
Yeah.
Why would you, when you said your entire thing is to tear down AEW and make it great again, right? Like, but you haven't told me why it's bad. You haven't told me who's made it bad. You haven't explained. It's too long for me to play the guessing game. I love John Moxley.
Same.
I think John Moxley, phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal guy.
Me too. A lot of people hate him. I love him.
I thought they did a great job repackaging Marina Shafir and making her this mysterious heater.
Because she had no charisma whatsoever. It works this way.
You had a lot of really interesting, cool pieces. Even if but you haven't done much with it that progresses the story along.
Right.
What is the story? I don't understand what the story is. I don't know where you're taking me, but I don't know where it's not I don't know where you're taking me. I'm excited. No. And I'm thinking about 8 different directions you can be taking me. Now, here's the flip side to that. Toni Storm and Mariah May might be the second best story in wrestling of the last 2 years outside of Punk and Drew.
And you throw in Harley Cameron. I'm loving
But again, they're weaving people in and out of it. The character arc has been incredible. The segment last night with Tony and Mariah on Collision is probably the best thing that ever came out of Collision. Absolutely phenomenal.
I haven't seen that yet. No, I saw Tony on
you got
Dynamite. I'm gonna go watch Collision.
No, you gotta go see what happened on Collision. Absolutely incredible stuff.
Okay, I will.
Highlight like segment of the year level stuff. Brilliant stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But they have also made it very clear that they care about their story first and foremost. They are doing a lot of work on their story. Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay, I had to go watch what they did.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was bonkers to me.
What happened the way they just all of a sudden teamed up. Yeah.
How do you go
in a
span of 10 minutes?
I know. And Kenny goes, "You're right, Will. I shouldn't have doubted you.
I shouldn't have doubted you after you tried to murder me with a screwdriver."
Yeah, I know.
I told you that I would never, that there was nothing that could happen to do it. Like,
I know.
Just brutal. And then they give you the high spot of the dive off 2 scaffolds, which was incredible. Absolutely incredible. But now what do you do next week? Where's the story go next week?
I don't know.
You have to go backwards now. You have to suddenly get heat on the heels after you just showed them being a bunch of idiots.
Yeah.
You can't beat 2 guys that don't like each other. All for, like, if this had been on the two guys that weren't going to be at the pay-per-view and they got the upper hand, that's one thing.
Yeah.
And I don't mind Will Ospreay coming out. Like, dear
I love
listeners,
Will
if you've not seen the storytelling illogic that was the opening segment of AEW Dynamite, which went nearly a half hour.
It was long. It
just
really
didn't
long.
work for me, right? So that's my example in AEW of what WWE Raw Netflix opening segment.
Okay.
Same principle for me. The logic was not there. The logic was not there for me, and therefore it didn't entice me to want to keep watching further. For Raw, I did. I suffered through it because it was history, and I was excited for Punk, Seth, and I was excited for Jay and Drew. And the opening for the Raw on Netflix was one of the best pieces of WWE production they did in a long time. And that's not a knock on anything they've done. They've done some amazing things.
Their production team is second.
Their production team is second, and nobody touches WWE on production, in my opinion.
No, I agree.
It's wild. So again, I will give credit to great storytelling where I see it, and I will absolutely call out poor storytelling where I see it. AEW, their numbers are not getting significantly better. Their numbers are not going crazy. Those ratings that you now see for AEW programming does include Max, believe it or not.
Right.
Max does report to Nielsen those +1 numbers. So those numbers have gone up a little bit, and that includes the Max stuff. They're not drawing bigger crowds. So that, to me, their merch sales are not going up. Like, nothing is going up for AEW, which is the sign that says whatever you're giving the audience is not working, right?
No. So would you blow it up? Would you just like a hard reboot? Like, what would you do?
No, absolutely not. I'm not going to WCW 2000 style, strip everybody of all the titles and say nothing before this ever counted.
Just so you understand, there was a point in WCW where Vince Russo was running the show, and it was called WCW New Blood era, and that was right before it went out of business. It was so brutal that they brought Bischoff back at the end, and it didn't matter. But like, we're getting to that point. I'm not going to say we're there yet. We're very, very close to, the New Blood era right now for AEW.
AEW's not going away. AEW got a nice rights increase. AEW is going to be there for years, and I want it to be there. I'm not one of those, I hope a wrestling promotion goes out of business.
I'm not either.
What the hell is wrong with anybody that's
I hate when people do that because you clearly don't like wrestling. Like,
you don't like wrestling.
I have this argument all the time, and Alex, I'm sorry if we're making you quiet. I hate this whole thing that, listen, people like fast food, right? It's a guilty pleasure. I'm trying to think of like a way to put it in Canada terms. Alex, you love Tim Hortons, right?
I mean, you can still say we have fast food up there.
I know you do. No. I don't want. I'm just trying to put it in like really grandiose. Like you love Tim Hortons, right? You love Timmy.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that there's a product out there for everyone, right? Like,
exactly.
I am not the biggest WWE fan. I watch AEW because I don't care as much about the story. Like, I'm fine making illogical leaps going from point A to point B because the action in the ring is what I care about.
Are you bored with this Moxley thing now at this point?
No. Because I enjoy the fact that I get to see John Moxley on my screen. I see Pac wrestle more than I have before, and Pac is fantastic.
He's amazing.
He is.
Claudio Castagnoli is
the fact that he never wears anything outside.
Exactly, and that to me that is hilarious. I absolutely adore what they're doing with Hangman. Like, Hangman, the character work, and everything.
I'm enjoying it. I don't like him. He is really growing on me because even when he took out Christopher Daniels and had like that remorse, that slight remorse, I'm like, that's great character work.
And that's what I mean. Like,
in others.
You do get some great character work there, but for the most part, like, do I care that Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay are now friends or uneasy allies? Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. Do I care that there's a logic leap? I want to see them together. It doesn't bother me that there's a logic leap. It genuinely doesn't.
I am super happy. Yep. Go. Sorry.
It's the same for a lot of the wrestling logic. I don't care. Can the story carry me there? Great. A good story can make up for an average match.
Yes.
And for me, likewise, a good match can make up for an average story. I'm enjoying the fact that where AEW for me is lagging, like the stories may not be great, I get some really interesting matches. I get to see Samoa Joe absolutely take apart Nick Wayne. And
Why
you
is
know
he
what?
back?
Samoa Joe, yep.
Mojo's back.
What?
Yeah.
When?
Last night.
Weeks now.
Yeah, his first match was last night.
His first match was last night. Yeah, he demolished Nick Wayne.
Yeah,
Much to his delight.
It's absolutely fantastic. Like Samoa Joe is brilliant. Like he just has to
love
show
Samoa
up,
Joe.
and I'm going to enjoy whatever he's going to do.
Holy, when did
Triple
he come back
H's
on a
biggest
Dynamite?
regret is he couldn't get Samoa Joe back when he took
Right.
over because he'd signed a contract with AEW.
Did he come back on a Dynamite?
Yes.
2 weeks ago.
Did he come back
Or
at
a
the
week
end
ago.
of a Dynamite?
No, not really.
No. It was the middle of the show. He
Oh,
was.
this is what I
Who did
get
he
for
make the
fast
save for?
forwarding.
Did he make the save for Hook?
Yeah.
Yeah, he made the save for Hook with the
See that at
patriarchy.
all.
Yeah, because Taz was so the patriarchy were kicking the shit out of Hook after
Right.
Hook was going after Christian
I
Cage,
just fast forwarded that. Yep, I fast forwarded that.
and so there was a really cool moment where Taz is like, I can't watch this anymore, and so he's going to get up and jump in the ring for the first time in however long,
Yeah.
and you watch him stand up, takes his headset off, and then Joe's music hits, and then Taz just has a
Sits
smirk
back down.
and stands there, and then Joe comes down and does Joe thing.
So, did they ever explain where Taz was? I noticed he just like popped up. I heard his voice. I was like, oh shit, he's
the
back.
patriarchy took him
he's
out,
getting
and
knee
he needed
replacement.
he had to end up with a knee
Oh, I did not
replacement.
know that.
Yeah,
okay,
he got a knee replacement surgery because wrestlers in their 50s and 60s require new knees and several require new hips. So,
Oh yeah. No,
and if you're
ask
Hulk Hogan, you need
you
a new
require
back.
both.
Yeah,
You
if
need
you're
a new
Hulk
back.
Hogan, you need everything new that has anything even remotely to
Yeah,
do with
yeah.
touching
He's
the mat
always-
on a
he's-
leg drop.
He's a permanent hunch at this point.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a permanent limp and a permanent hunch, but not a permanent fixture.
No,
Thank
no,
God.
no. I felt bad for
Thank
Jimmy.
goodness.
I felt so
Thank
bad
goodness.
for Jimmy, though.
Yeah,
I
Listen,
felt so bad
you make
for
your
Jimmy
choices and
Hart.
you live with them. So
No, Jimmy Hart. I felt so bad for Jimmy Hart. I really did. But I digress. So, okay, Samoa Joe, that's something I need to check out. That will actually make me somewhat excited. Actually, he was my guy to come back and dethrone Moxley. Because if you weren't going to, you're not going to give it to Edge. I mean, you're not going to give it to Adam Copeland. It's not going to happen. You
Sure
would
it
have done
could.
it all. It
Could.
ain't happening.
it
It
could.
ain't happening.
Okay, I
At
mean,
this point,
you're gonna give
Daniel
you're-
Bryan will get it before he does. I mean,
Nah,
Bryan
you're
Danielson
gonna.
will get
I think Cope, trying to be respectful. He wants to be called Cope. What do I
it.
care?
Ugh.
I think you'd absolutely have Cope win the title.
Yeah,
I would
think,
love it.
I think during his reign, at some point, he'll probably win the title because he's a bigger star than most of the people on AEW.
He's a massive star. Yeah.
it's
So
the
why
same as
wouldn't you?
Jericho being the ROH champion.
Oh,
Like,
no.
ROH
Even
is
I
getting a
have to
rub
admit-
from Jericho.
Yeah, even I have to admit, I love Jericho, and we know how much I love Jericho. It is painful to me how wrong I am on the Jericho thing right now. It's time to pull the plug on Jericho. I adore Jericho.
I'm not gonna lie, like the learning tree gimmick started out, and I was rolling my eyes so hard, and now
Oh, no,
every
it's
time
great.
he's on,
That part's good.
yeah,
Him in the
every
ring
time he's
is
on
just
screen, I'm
no.
like, oh, this is amazing.
Him in the ring is just no. I love the New York Minute stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but him in the ring, no. I'm so sorry. At this point, like, it's hitting Ric Flair levels, but not Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels levels.
I
Like,
think
I'm
Jericho
yikes.
needs to adjust his style. Like he's still trying to do a lot of the
lion
salt,
salt?
right? Like
Can't do that
the
shit.
rebound drop kick. I think he needs to
Yeah.
adjust his style. Like Matt Hardy, it struggles to move, but
Yes.
his style
Yeah, I
has
know.
adjusted over the years. So
know.
he's not jumping off and landing on his leg, not doing leg drops and stuff. Like he's more of a grounded wrestler.
Yeah.
And I think Jericho needs to take more of the approach of someone like that, like a Christ, why can't I think of his name? Konosuke. No. You know what? This is one of
No.
those moments where I was
Are you
just
thinking of like a
watching-
Japanese pro wrestler? Because
I
like
am
Muda,
I'm
had to
talking like a
adjust.
Minoru Suzuki.
No, it's gonna drive me nuts. But anyway, so Jericho
Okada?
needs to. Yes, thank you. Like more of a
Kazuchika
Okada style. I just watched the match with him and Commander as well, and I couldn't think of his name, and it was driving me nuts.
Oh, thank you for saying Commander.
So that's the impression Okada has made on you, has he?
So the ironic thing is that I absolutely love what Okada does in the ring.
Yes.
But the moment where all of us are like, wait, what's his name again? I can think of his name. I can see him. I just couldn't grab it. But I think Jericho needs to take more of an Okada approach, where it's slower, methodical. The moves he hits are just devastating. that
Yeah,
I think is what Jericho needs to
he can't go
transition
move
to.
for move anymore with guys.
No.
He
They're
cannot.
younger
No,
and
he
faster.
should probably
But
switch to a
is that the
managerial
gimmick
role.
now? Is he
I think-
trolling the audience by trying to do that style?
Oh, I don't think so. I
Oh
don't
no,
know.
I
don't
wouldn't
know.
I
Could
wouldn't
be.
put it I wouldn't put it past him.
I wouldn't put
Jericho
it
is
past him.
yeah, he's very smart in what he does, and right now he's clearly
Brilliant.
playing a cheesy heel. I think
Yes.
once you start to see him transition to a new gimmick, it might be like what I enjoy about AEW is when they had Sting on and they booked him like every punch Sting does is so much more devastating than the punch that some other guy does.
Yeah.
Right.
Sting's a legend, and I think that's where Jericho is going to go. Is that eventually
Yeah.
he's going to do fewer moves, but what he does do, like a suplex from Jericho, is going to be significantly more devastating than a suplex from.
You know, I
John
never thought
Moxley.
I'd see the day where I'd say that Jeff Jarrett is a far better worker at this point than Chris Jericho is, and that's not to say that Jeff Jarrett's
No.
a stellar worker.
He
He's
is.
a stellar worker for his age, and
But I
even
think
under his
it
age.
goes back to the moveset that Jarrett has works
Yes.
really well for
Yes.
a 50-something-year-old guy versus
Yeah,
Jericho.
he adjusted.
Yeah,
He
like
made the
Jericho
adjustment.
can still do the moves,
Yeah.
but it doesn't look as fluid as it did when he went 30 years ago.
So the reason I was glad you said Commander, because we're going to jump back and forth, that made me think it was like light bulb went off. Was it week 2 that he debuted? Because that I will say is the
Penta?
only part of yes. Was
Yeah,
it week 2?
I watched
Oh,
week
Penta?
2 for I watched week
Okay.
2 for Penta.
That was the only thing that was the saving grace of week 2. I will say this. For a guy that I was like, I don't know why WWE is going to sign him. Like, I mean, I like Penta. I've always liked Penta. It's Ray Phoenix I have no use for. I'm sorry. I just don't. He's a
Neither does
sidekick.
Tony Khan,
He's
apparently.
he's a sidekick. But Penta was looking like a freaking star. A
Yeah.
massive star.
What I really enjoyed about Penta's debut is that the way Chad Gable worked the leg almost
Chad Gable's
prevented
so good.
Penta from doing a lot of the moves that you were used to him doing, like a lot of the more high-flying, flippy things. And Penta sold the injury well, so that when he's in a higher profile match, he's going to be able to do a lot more of the typical lucha high-flying moves that he didn't display. And like we've said with the Batman v Superman trailer, he didn't reveal everything he has at the beginning, right, like he's still got a lot of stuff in the repertoire that he can go and display. Like when Penta gets going, his sling blades are fantastic. His destroyers are amazing, are really smooth.
They're crisp. I see titles in his future for sure, no question.
He could be the world champion.
Yes,
he could absolutely be the world champion.
He is a star. Now everyone defending, and even Dragon Lee with sour grapes, saying that he wasn't. They gave Dragon Lee those pushes. They gave Dragon Lee those chances. Dragon Lee doesn't connect to the audience the way Penta connects to the audience. Dragon Lee connects like the way a Sin Cara connects. You know what I mean?
You just got to look at your metrics. Here's the thing, right?
Penta's got an amazing look too, and that's part of it.
That's just it.
I mean, Penta's presentation was incredible, and again, that production value that you spoke about, and I agree with you on, Joe. The thing is, you got to look at the metrics. Who is growing your audience? Who is not growing your audience?
Right.
And I'm not just saying from a rating standpoint, because TV ratings these days mean less than they ever have.
Agreed.
Look at your social media metrics. Everything is in real time. And I'm not just talking about one social media platform. You look at all social media platforms. You look at what the chatter is on that. And you look at it live. You look at it for the next 2-3 days. Penta's numbers are fantastic. When he's in WWE, when he was in AEW, his numbers didn't do anything. So that is the difference making for one audience versus the other, and that is the difference between how he is presented in one company versus how he's presented in another. And at the end of the day, right, if you take out your personal preference for whichever show or whichever segment, you got to look at the business for how companies are doing. At the end of the day, that tells you if on the grander scale, what you are doing is actually working. I guarantee you the Tony Storm, Mariah May numbers on Collision, when you look at metrics all across the board, are going to do better than anything on AEW Dynamite or Collision this week.
I can't wait to see it.
I agree.
Absolutely going to do better because that is working for them.
Right.
Whereas
then you
the
got
Death Rider
Mercedes
stuff,
Monet.
well, hang on. The Death Rider stuff is not doing any numbers for
Nothing,
anybody.
Nothing.
Not in ratings, not in social media
No.
viewership, not in merchandising sales, and it's the lead angle on the show, and it's not drawing people. It's not drawing more people to come to the show. So to me, that means it's not working.
I agree.
Regardless of how much I like the people involved, regardless of what I think of the match quality, for me personally as a fan, is it working from an overall grander macro
No.
scale? It's not. But then again, AEW has different goals than WWE. What is success to AEW? I don't know.
I don't know
what
either, to
success
be
is.
honest with you.
I just
I don't
don't.
think Tony Khan cares about the success. I'm going to be very honest.
but
As long
that's
as his
it.
dad keeps giving him allowance, this is going to keep going.
I don't know what success is.
I don't know.
Is success keep making Tony Khan happy?
Yeah,
Because
it could be.
If so, then he's just the new Vince McMahon. The audience
Right.
of one that is the only person
Right.
that the wrestlers actually care about in terms of making sure that they are happy with the job
Right,
they're doing.
yeah.
They don't need to care about the audience. They don't need to care about anybody except making Tony happy. And we are only looking at Tony Khan's fantasy playing wrestlers with figures as if he was a child, right?
I said that. Yep.
If that is success to AEW, then that's all that matters, right? That's all that matters. So I don't know what success is. I don't know what drives their business. I don't know what drives, their continued hunger to get better and better every week
Right.
and to try more things. I don't know what it is. I wish somebody would tell me so that I could better appreciate AEW on its own terms.
Yeah.
But I don't know what those terms are. I really don't. But
I don't either.
but if it is just Tony's, thumbs up or thumbs down,
Yeah, right.
then you got to say Tony is the new Vince McMahon. That is it.
Yeah.
The audience of one that you have to please. That is it. That was big. That was the biggest knock on Vince McMahon for years, since the mid 2000s.
Right.
But now Tony Khan doesn't. Does Tony Khan get a pass for that? I don't know. You talked about hypocrisy earlier, Alex, for AEW to WWE. This is an example of it on the other side.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So success for WWE is numbers. It's money. It's metrics.
Yes.
They are doing great live event business. They are doing better TV ratings. They are doing phenomenal social media numbers. They are doing spectacular merch sales because you can't get a Penta mask for 3 months because they're so backwards.
That's crazy, right?
3 months. People are waiting until April to get a Penta mask because
You
you
can
sold
get
out so quickly.
Their most popular world title, but you can't get a Penta mask.
You can't get a Penta mask. You can't
Because
even
they
get a
weren't
winged
expecting
eagle.
they weren't expecting how popular Penta was going to be.
I think they were. I think Triple H saw this.
I think they absolutely were expecting good numbers. I
They
don't
weren't
think they were
expecting this.
expecting blowout numbers like this.
No.
Yeah.
Which
and
is
I'll
amazing.
be honest. Remember when they brought Rey Mysterio in 2000 and what was it, 2002 or was it 2006? But they brought him in SmackDown, the old era SmackDown. Yeah, he had a nice debut. It wasn't this. It was not this. This is something totally
The thing is,
different.
Rey Mysterio walked in WWE so Penta could fly. Right?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
good.
That's the way.
Nice.
That's the way it is at this point.
Yep.
Is that if Rey hadn't come in, you wouldn't and done as well as he had. And let's not forget, Rey is a small guy, and yet he's still able. Yeah, like he's still able to make the WWE universe care.
Yep.
He was able to carry the company as the face, whilst Vince McMahon was the person you pleased. So he was clearly doing something right.
Yes.
And then you end up with him still is one of the most popular wrestlers, regardless of
all
where
time.
he is. Yeah.
And he can still go in the ring.
Absolutely. And he can
He's almost 50 and he can absolutely still do his style in the ring.
Exactly. Like Rey hasn't lost a step.
Not much of one.
I was amazed when I found out he was 50 or nearly 50. I thought he was
49.
at least 10 to 15 years younger than that.
Yeah. Remember when we were talking about Mariah May and Tony Storm, and you were telling me about like how good that pro, like the work on Collision is?
Uh-huh.
So WWE has the best women's roster on the face of the planet. I maintain that, but they have it on NXT.
I was just about to say it might be on NXT, but yes.
It's on NXT. I will tell you this. I love the current main event rosters, but I'm so ready for Charlotte Flair to come back. It's not even funny. I cannot wait.
The greatest of all time.
She is. She 100% is.
Period.
There's no question. I'm never going to let anyone even doubt it. Nope. And I think that's kind of a mistake that they announced it for beforehand. They could have just had her be a surprise in the Rumble, but I guess they have another surprise in the Rumble, obviously, and it's probably cough Becky Lynch, even though I love her. It's probably Becky Lynch.
You could have 6 surprises in the Rumble. You could have Becky. You can have Asuka. You can have Jordynne Grace debut. You're going to have Charlotte now coming in. You
won't have Alexa though, apparently.
Who knows, dude? I don't believe.
You believe that? You don't believe that?
Okay, I don't believe anything. Becky Lynch was supposed to debut at WWE Raw on Netflix. And they didn't. Because that wasn't true. Come on.
They said she was backstage, and then
they said that she wasn't backstage the next day.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, okay. They said she was never even there. So you know what?
The thing is, they're going to throw a rumor out, and if they're right, they're going to look great, and if they're wrong, it changed last minute.
And look, even a broken clock is right twice a day.
My problem is like this though. So I watched SmackDown, and I love SmackDown. I'm ready for Bianca's heel turn already. I'm calling it right now because we're gonna get to our Rumble. We're gonna get to our Rumble predictions before this show closes.
I can't wait.
Okay, so here's the thing. I'm not going to go there yet, but I will say this. Please take the fucking mic away from Nia Jax. Please, for the love of God, take the mic away from Nia Jax.
Why? She's so annoying. It's great.
I hate it so much.
She's so annoying.
I feel like that's the point, though.
I
think she's so good in the ring, but this Valley girl, she's Mike Tyson as a woman. I'm going to eat his children. You know what I mean? There's nothing menacing when she gets on a mic. Are you
making fun of Mike Tyson?
Yes. You know when John Cena said,
Tyson
gave the greatest quote of all time. I'm going to eat his children. He's like, but no, he said no one ever, I forget what the quote was, ironically, but it was great.
Here's the thing though. They are.
Oh, and Bailey's bad on the mic too. You stupid
idiot. Bailey's in a weird tweener place right now that I don't love, but hopefully her going to Raw will give her some direction. Yeah. Here's the thing that I'm going to say. The Royal Rumble has sold over 60,000 tickets. 60,000 tickets in mostly Indianapolis. Indianapolis is not an A market, guys.
No,
it's not up there with LA or New York.
Did you just say people love Pat McAfee?
Yeah,
people do love Pat McAfee.
Yeah, people do love Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee does nothing for me.
No, that's okay. That's totally fair, Alex. Right? You're not the intended audience.
No, I'm not. I'm absolutely not.
You're not. No. Alex is not. Alex is not an American football fan.
All right. Anyways, yep, you're right.
So they are about to do 60,000 people. They are going to do more because they still have a week to sell tickets. They're going to do 62, maybe 65,000. That is growth because that is going to be the biggest crowd to ever go to a Royal Rumble ever. And they have done stadiums before. They have put 50,000 people before. Last year had 46,000 people in the stands in Florida. This has over 60,000 people. And they sold 5,000 tickets since Raw on Netflix debuted. 5,000 tickets. So something for WWE is working. Yeah. Regardless of what we think as individuals, something is working. Something is getting them very excited because you don't sell 60,000 tickets for the number 3 show of the year, right?
Wait, you call Rumble is the 3 show of the year?
SummerSlam is number 2. Always has been.
No.
You got to look at the numbers. Look at the numbers.
Okay, all right.
The numbers.
So it's just me biasly.
We're talking. For me personally, I agree. Rumble is the second biggest show.
Number 2 with a bullet.
But that's me as a fan.
Yeah.
Look at numbers.
I've always enjoyed the Rumble more than any other show.
I love the Rumble.
For a lot of people, Rumble is number 1 because it is the most exciting event of the year.
Good.
But look at the numbers, gents. Yeah. The numbers for WWE are going up, are doing phenomenal. The numbers for AEW, all in, is the biggest show of the year without question. By this point last year, they had sold over 40,000 tickets to London for the second time there.
How are they doing with Texas?
They have sold 10,000 tickets.
Jesus.
In Texas.
That's
10,000.
That's Dallas Stadium. Oh my God.
That's it. thousand
Oh
tickets.
my
For
God,
the
that's gonna be
same
a
period
lot
in
of
time. You are,
blackout.
and you have gone from, and I understand why they move, because it's way cheaper. Like
Yeah.
you can put 80,000 people in a stadium in London and still not make a ton of money, because you
Right.
are traveling all your equipment,
Yeah.
all your talent, everything across the seas, and you're not getting a site fee the way WWE is, right? Like
Right.
WWE in Royal Rumble is nearly all profit because they are being paid
Yeah.
by
By
Indianapolis to
Yeah,
be
and
there.
it's gonna be at
They're,
WrestleMania too next year.
they are being paid for all these shows now. Toronto is paying a site fee,
Yep.
like for Elimination Chamber of all things,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Whereas AEW had to go smaller because they couldn't. Them throwing the amount of money to go back across the sea
But
wasn't
smaller,
reasonable
you
anymore.
can't. That's gonna be awful. If they can't.
10,000. So they have taken
God, I hope that's
their
wrong.
biggest show of the year is going to go
Oh.
from 80,000 in year
Oh
one
my
to
God.
55,000 in year two to maybe 30,000, if 30,000.
I
Maybe
hope
they
you're
get to
wrong.
30.
I hope
They
it's
might
like
only get to
2,000.
20.
I
They
hope
might
it's
only
like
get to
2,000.
20. So that is the larger overall indicator, gentlemen, that one
Yeah.
company is not growing and another
Yeah.
company is growing. But the question is, does it matter that the other company is not quote unquote growing?
Right, because we don't know
Because
what
what's the
success
point?
means.
What does
Yeah.
success mean? Because it's not higher ticket sales. It's not higher pay-per-view buys. It's
Right.
not higher attendance. It's not higher social media chatter.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know what success is to Tony Khan. I really don't.
Jeez.
I just don't.
So I don't know what our time constraint is. I can go, like Captain America, I can do this all day. But if you
I
guys
can
have
go
time,
another 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah,
all
go
right, I
about
would
that.
say let's jump to our Rumble predictions, because we usually, when we talk about our predictions, we usually explain why and we go into a little bit of the detail. So Matthew, if you don't mind, why don't we go first with you? Not for the card. Let's just do the whole
Sure.
card, what it is. Alex, do you mind pulling up the card?
No, not at all.
Wow, look at you, Joe. Just passing the buck to Alex.
You
Just
got
like,
it.
come on, Canadian boy.
No, I'm holding my dog down right now. That's why.
Oh, Brady.
No, he's a pain.
So
I love
full
him.
disclosure, I'm doing this from Wikipedia.
That's fine. That's
Sure.
fine. And we'll use the two Rumbles we'll use the men's
Okay.
Rumble as last.
Yeah, so
And
you
then-
got men's Rumble, women's Rumble, Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens, and
Mhm.
then you got DIY versus the Motor City Machine Guns.
So those are the only matches, huh?
Those are the
Yeah.
only matches.
Okay.
My guess is they'll add one more.
Maybe one
match.
more, yeah.
Mhm.
Like I wouldn't
Alright.
be shocked if you had Gunther Jey Uso Part 2
Yeah.
next weekend. I could see that. I could see a few other, but yeah, we're gonna go with just what we got right now.
All right, let's
Okay.
go with the Motor City Machine Guns and DIY 2 out of 3 falls. Matthew, floor is yours.
DIY takes it
DIY, huh?
through chicanery and cheating and Pretty Deadly getting involved and all that stuff. DIY takes it. Also, shout out to the tag team division on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
That
Agreed.
third hour has given them a lot more time
Yes.
to get over more acts and to really start ramping up the storytelling. This is a show stealer of a match. It's going to get 20 to 30 minutes, and it's going to be
I hope so.
fan-freaking-tastic. I cannot wait for this one. Alex, this is the wrestling match to watch on Royal Rumble,
Yeah.
if I may say.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Rumble is always one I watch eventually, just because I enjoy the
Yeah.
Rumbles. I have no knowledge whatsoever about this one, so I'm gonna assume that the WWE precedent of titles changing rarely is gonna hold true, and this one's not gonna change.
Yeah. Okay. So you two with DIY. I'm gonna have to be honest. I'm gonna go with the Motor City Machine Guns. Not because I like them better than DIY. That's not the truth at all. I love Gargano and Ciampa. I just think their run was cut too short for them returning. I don't know. I think Ciampa and Gargano can survive without the titles. I think Motor City Machine Guns are a team that need the titles to be relevant. I really do. I think that's my opinion. I think I mean, I think something stupid happens with miscommunication or whatever in the third fall. Because let's face it, it's not going to go one. It's not going to go two falls straight.
It's going to be, no matter what it is, it's going to be the
It's
final
third
four
fall.
that's going to take it.
Yeah, I think Motor City Machine Guns get it back.
Okay.
That's my call. Yeah,
Two,
I think they need
one
it
way,
so
one the
much
other.
more to survive. To be honest, and I don't know how you feel, Matthew.
I
I
disagree.
think them. Okay, good.
I think you can use a loss like this to propel character growth.
Sure.
I think you can look at this and they can say the questions you just asked of, we lost on the biggest stage we've ever had. Where do we go from here? Who are we? How do we redefine ourselves? You can make that part of the story. You can also give them the out with a screwy finish, and because I think this is actually going to lead all the way to Mania. I don't think this is the end of the story. I think this is. I think there is going to be a larger story being told in that division using this all the way up until Mania. I think Street Profits could come back and accidentally cost Motor City Machine Guns the match. Something like I think, again,
I'd like
I just
to see
don't think this is.
Praxium come up. And
you could see it. I think this is just. I just don't think this is the end of the story. I think the story is going to make it to Mania. So I don't think it's time for them to win because I don't see this as the actual blow-off yet.
All right. So 2 against 1. All right. What was the next match? Cody and Kevin Owens. This one breaks my heart so much. I love the story. I'm loving the ride more than anything in the
awesome.
world.
Yeah, Kevin Owens is untouchable right now.
Untouchable.
As someone who watches this through highlights, I would love Kevin Owens to take it. Like, I would absolutely love KO to walk away with this.
Me too.
Because Cody isn't enticing to me as a face champion. He's not.
Okay.
Cody is great when he's on the chase.
Oh, he's
but
so good.
I haven't seen anything about Cody's run as champion since he won that has made me want to tune in. I still care more about Roman Reigns in the Bloodline than I do about Cody Rhodes as a champion.
Yeah.
I think I would care more about Kevin Owens as champion than I would about Cody Owens.
Cody Owens?
Cody Rhodes.
I was like, what the hell?
He's already erasing Cody's name from his mind, Joe.
So, but all right, Alex. So, who do you think is going to win?
I think Cody's going to win.
Okay, for those reasons. All right, I am enjoying the ride more than anything in the world. Kevin Owens is an unparalleled dick heel. He's so good. Except for, I would say, Drew McIntyre is really good at it too. They both are on the same level. It's tough. It's 1A, 1B. They're really phenomenal. The thing that makes Kevin Owens so great this run is he's right. He literally is right. Like, everything he's saying, the audience is just ignoring the fact that they're blind with the Cody love. And I love Cody too. But we're blind here. Cody cheated to win with a chair. He had a ref count from the outside on the floor. You know what I mean? Like, everything he's saying is legit. I'm hoping we're going to get a little bit of dashing here. Not dashing Cody Rhodes, but a little bit of dashing of his heel persona in this match, where he gets to vicious levels. Because I think John Cena is earmarked to go against Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. And I want to see it, since we're jettisoning The Rock completely, apparently, for today. I want John Cena versus Cody Rhodes before we don't get John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. Now, I will be more torn than anything in the world for who gets that title, because I think Big Match John deserves number 17 more than anyone on the roster ever.
I think that if you're going to do that, then this needs to be the start of Cody's heel turn.
I do too, but I also am there's something to be said for a face versus face, and I'm fine with that, where Cody can work as a heel during the match when things aren't working. I think you should go in face versus face, but I also don't think, well, we'll get there. But John Cena will get to Cody Rhodes. That's what I'm saying. He'll get there. How he'll get there, I'll let you know. But John Cena will get there. I think, unfortunately, as much as my heart says, well, give Kevin a cup of coffee with it, and he can lose it back right before Mania, maybe on a big Raw or something. I just don't see them giving it to him. Like, the way that I had my heart torn up wanting Jay to win it last night for that big match feel. I just wanted him to get it. I know you don't derail Gunther. Gunther's amazing, but I wanted Jay to get it so much. I was caught up in that last night. It's the same thing here.
Jay has a fantastic aura.
Yes.
But I don't think he's compelling. His moveset's just not compelling to me. Like I watched Jey Uso's for the Jey Uso entrance.
Yeah.
And honestly, after that point, I hope his opponent can carry him.
Oh,
Jay's
ouch.
good, but he super kick.
Jay hasn't been able to prove he can have the big match on the big stage. His Mania match was last night. His Mania match was underwhelming though. Him and Jimmy shit the bed. So
agreed, it was terrible, but I thought last night was his main event match.
Last night was his best match. I agree, in a main event spot, but I think you have to give a lot of credit to Gunther. So
do you remember when Vince was trying to find the new guy and he had him go up against Bret Hart, and at the end of the match, oh, this guy's brilliant, I love this guy. The reason the match was so good was because Bret Hart was carrying him through.
Yeah.
And Vince was right. Yeah. Vince was right. He did find his guy. It just wasn't the one he thought it was. And I think that's what probably happened last night, is that Gunther could make me look good in the ring.
Yes, he could.
Right. Yeah, he could.
Right?
Okay. No, you're right. So
has not been booked to be the top guy on Raw since he won the title.
He has
which
not.
Is really a problem.
Maddening. So
I'm gonna go with Kevin Owens in this match.
I went with Cody Rhodes.
Anyway. Logic be damned. I'm going with Kevin Owens.
Wow.
I hope you're right.
So I anticipate being wrong, but I'm going with Kevin Owens, and here's why. I think on some level that if Kevin Owens wins this match, because I think this match goes before the Rumble. If it goes before the Rumble, Owens has a really good chance of winning, because suddenly the Rumble is wide open.
Oh yeah,
wide open. Do you have Roman Reigns wins and go against the guy, and he goes against Owens, who he seems to have his number, but now the roles are reversed. You could have Sammy win, and you do get the Sammy versus KO scenario. Now, I don't think Kevin Owens is champ at Mania, but I could see Kevin winning at Rumble, and from a story perspective, going, oh my God, what does this mean? All of our plans are everything we thought could happen are now.
Kevin Owens winning would honestly get me to tune into Raw more.
I bet it would.
Well, then let's hope he wins.
Because I hate that wrestling, both companies, is so predictable. Oh, they're going to have a longish run. They're not going to drop it. Like I've said it before, short title runs are fantastic. I really enjoy it because it has the anything can happen. However, I don't think you need to change a champion once a month. Have it spread out. I think Gunther having a long run works for the character.
Yes. Yeah, but I think Roman's run you'll never touch it again. Ever.
And nor should you. Roman's run was long because it worked for him.
It was perfect.
I think having Seth's run as long as it was a mistake. I don't think it should have been that long when Roman's was going so long.
It was 9 months.
Yeah, like having something like Damian Priest take it off him.
Yeah.
And it going to Gunther, like I feel that you should have had at least 2 champions between when the new belt was introduced to when Gunther won it.
Yeah, I mean, I always thought the new belt should have been the hot potato belt, the belt that made the WWE people, because it's a contrast. Like, I honestly didn't see Cody keeping it till the following Mania. I literally did not see this happening.
I thought he'd get it at least a year, but I wasn't sure he'd keep it long.
And now I'm hearing there's a chance he might keep it. What do I know? Till possibly the following Mania. I'm not.
Maybe. I think it would be a mistake, because I don't think Cody has the charisma and the aura that Roman.
It all goes back to the numbers, though, guys.
Yeah.
How's the merch selling? How's the merch selling? How's the crowds doing? What's the ratings? It's I don't know.
I'll say this: when Cody Rhodes isn't on the show, you're missing something massive. It's a huge.
Yeah, you need him there every week. You do want him there every week. He does add to the show still. So, but I think this feud with Owens is the best thing for his entire reign.
100%.
Without question.
So far, 100%.
Yeah.
I think Cody going into Mania with a belt is expected. I would love to see him win the rematch with Owens.
Correct.
Okay, where does that
agree.
rematch take place though? Elimination Chamber?
I think it'd be Elimination Chamber. I think it could be.
Is there a Saturday night main event before Raw?
I actually think I would be happier if it was on a Raw.
Well, it won't be on a Raw. I think it'll be on a
SmackDown.
SmackDown.
Yeah,
well,
or a
Cody
SmackDown.
switches.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was my point. Okay, Matthew, I'm sorry. That was my. You said KO.
Oh,
my
you
point
think
was,
this is how they move Cody to Raw?
Yes.
They take the title off him?
Yes.
You know what?
No,
I hadn't thought of it, and that could absolutely be the way. If KO wins, you move Cody to Raw without the belt, and then it's him and Gunther. That's a story you could tell.
Yep. I also believe you're going to get an amalgamation of the world title and the Winged Eagle, like we have. With Gunther's belt is an amalgamation of the WCW title. We're going to get a WWE. We're going to get a WWE Network-fied, well, not WWE Network. We're going to get a Netflix era Winged Eagle title.
I think anything would be better than that gold piece of crap that Cody's got to carry every week.
Yeah, I think we're going to get, because people have proven how much they love the Winged Eagle. It still looks great on people in this era.
People are buying
it's selling. My thing is what you would do to tweak it. Maybe just a little bit different. You throw side plates on. That's different.
Sure.
And then up where the block logo is for the old WWE block logo or WWF block logo, you just put that silver WWE logo up there. That's it. You cannot slap it in the middle of the Winged Eagle. That will make it disgusting. It will look so bad.
It really
so
would.
You got to make it.
In the interests of time.
Yes, we need to get going.
I'm running up. As interesting as the belt is, I think that I have no idea who is in the Women's Rumble match. I have no idea who the champions are. I'm gonna defer that to you two, and I am not gonna pick anyone.
Just pick somebody.
You're probably throw a name. Any name is possible right now.
Liv Morgan.
For me.
Sure. Okay. It's very possible.
Very possible.
Very
I'll go
possible.
with mine. Charlotte Flair.
And then I'm also going to go with Charlotte Flair because I think it's Charlotte versus Tiffany at Mania. Agreed. I think that is the marquee match that we have.
But I also think what we're going to get in the Women's Rumble is Jade as a surprise entrant. And she barrels down and fucking eliminates Bianca. Not only does she eliminate Bianca, but she's going to brutalize Bianca. Because it's going to be
still setting it up. Yep, they are setting up Bianca versus Jade for Mania. It's what they always wanted to do.
Right. If anyone thinks that Bianca's not the one who took Jade out storyline-wise, you're a fool. You're an absolute fool.
They're building a red herring with Naomi, but it was Bianca.
But it's going to be great when Jade comes back and is like, you bitch, and just starts beating the shit out of her to get her to Mania. That's going to
be awesome. I agree.
All right.
Who do you think for the men's?
This one's hard for me. This is so hard for me because this is the most wide open Royal Rumble I've ever seen.
Agreed.
No, go ahead.
Alex, I think you're going to see CM Punk, John Cena, and Roman Reigns at the end.
I agree with all that.
I think that you're going to get Cena eliminated, and then I think that Roman's going to shake Punk's hand and eliminate himself.
Oh, God, no.
Because that's going to be Punk's favor.
The favor, right. I agree there's a favor that's going to come into play, but Roman would reluctantly do that. I don't think he could
I don't think he's going to be happy to do it. But I think he's gonna have a leg up, go halfway over the rope, and Punk will help him out. But I think it's very much gonna be Punk winning.
That won't fit Roman's character. For me, it won't. There's got to be another reason to favor. However, with everything you said, so who do you go with? CM Punk winning?
CM Punk, yeah.
I'm going with Punk winning too, only because of the promo. One, I would love to see it. I think Phil deserves it. Two, it was supposed to happen last year. I would have been very happy with it last year. But also, I think the promo he gave on Third Week Raw, where he just shit on everybody.
It was very old school. It was a very old school pre-Royal Rumble promo where you knock out everybody. I hope they do this year.
But I thought it was kind of crap that he, what he said about Oh, who did he say? He goes, oh yeah, and Sami Zayn, he's not even in my league or my level. I was like, ouch.
Loved it.
He's
Loved it.
not wrong though.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
Okay, but I'm going to go with Punk because Cena is going to Mania. But I think there's more in the story of telling, you know, a downtrodden John with like losing every chance until the final chance and gets the golden ticket.
I would love to see Punk going to Rumble. Oh no, it's not going to work. Never mind. I was going to say I'd love to see Punk and Cena at Rumble, but I think Cena's going to.
Oh, you're going to get them in the match together.
You are, yeah. No, sorry, I meant at
Oh,
Mania,
yeah.
but yeah, I think you're going to get Cena winning something at Mania. Like that's going to be his match that he's going to win, and he's going to.
I do think Punk wins the Rumble. As wide open as it is, I think. I don't know where Punk goes though. Who he challenges? That's the only footnote I can't figure out. Is does he challenge Gunther?
Good.
And I like that. But I think
the uncertainty is exciting. I'm with you. We're going to do a clean sweep here. CM Punk wins the Royal Rumble this year.
So, I am going to abruptly cut us off because I do have to run.
Okay.
So I know we've gone through. So we're all on Punk for the Rumble.
Yes.
Liv Morgan and Charlotte Flair for the other one.
Yep.
There's a 2-1 split, Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens, and then again 2-1 for DIY and Motor City Machine Guns.
Excited to see if we're right or wrong, gentlemen.
Very excited, and we will be picking up another jam session soon enough. Alex, in the interest of time, you got to run. Matthew, it's been a pleasure. Alex, it's been a pleasure as always. I am excited to see where this goes, and I'm going to go watch Mariah May and Come Light.
Hey, thanks for watching the previous video from Graphic Policy Television. Just by watching, you help support our site. Thank you so much. Now, if you're watching these videos, you probably care about geeky things like movies, television, comic books, toys, games, video games, you name it. You can go and subscribe right now to our YouTube channel to stay in touch and catch all the new videos, or check out our website at graphicpolicy.com. There's a nice link on this end of the video. But as always, thank you for watching. Keep on rocking and keep it geeky.